We're going to begin today in a comfortable seat. So coming onto your mat. And as always, comfortable can be cross-legged, legs straight, butterfly, whatever you need today. And take a moment to sit nice and tall. Maybe roll the shoulders gently. And especially since we're at home, if we're comfortable enough, we can close our eyes. If you prefer, you might have your eyes halfway closed and look towards the tip of your nose. We're going to begin practice today with our 3-part breath. Now you can do this with your hands by your side, or you can bring one hand to chest, one hand to belly. And so we're breathing into our belly, into the ribs, into the chest. That's your inhale. You're breathing out from the chest, out from the ribs, out from the belly, and that's your exhale. We'll do that for a couple of rounds, breathing in 3 parts and breathing out 3 parts. Three more rounds of 3-part breath. And I thought it would be maybe interesting for today's practice to have this visual of a snow globe. Since we've got this snow outside, and let that be a metaphor for our mind. At times it can get shaken up through stress, challenges, whatever it may be. And we're not trying to stop the snow completely, but just be a little more settled. That'll be the intention of our practice today, to settle that snow globe of the mind. And go ahead and let your hands release down by your sides. And just start to find your natural breath here. Your eyes could stay closed or they might begin to open. We're going to do some gentle neck movement, bringing chin to chest and then ear to shoulder. And you're just going to move back and forth. This kind of creates a half circle, and if you need more today, you can take that into more of a full circle shape. And if there's any place that really needs a little extra attention or care, you might stay there. We'll do a couple more of these. Let me see. I'm trying to let somebody in on my phone. Let me get them in here real quickly. Now, coming back towards the center, do a few of those shoulder rolls. And super sorry if you hear me typing, it's just 1 second. And we're going to do a few of the spinal circling movements. So this is where you're leaning to one side and coming forward, and then circling back and around. We're only going to do about 3 in each direction. And switching when you feel ready. And we'll do a few more seated poses. So as you finish those circles, feel free to adjust your position or maybe just switch the crossing of the legs. Now you're going to inhale your arms overhead, interlace the fingers, and flip the wrist. Elbows could stay bent, arms might start to extend, deepening that stretch. Breathe here and relax the shoulders a little away from the ears. We're going to keep the arms in this shape and start to lean over to that right side. Inhaling to the center and exhaling towards the left. We'll do this a couple more times, just moving with the breath. Inhaling to center. And exhaling to the side. Once more in each direction. And then you're going to come out and bring your arms down to a T. Bring your right arm across the body and hold your elbow with your left hand. You're going to bring your right arm towards your chest and look towards the right. Breathing here. We'll do the same thing for the other side. Reach your arms to a T. You're going to bring your left arm across the body, holding the elbow with the right hand. And as you pull the arm towards the chest, you're looking over to the left. Breathing here. And again, coming out, arms to a T. We're going to bend at the elbows, cactus arms. And then inhale, arms up towards the ceiling. Repeating that on the exhale, elbows bending. One more like that. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to bend. And now your hands can come down and we'll begin to transition to our tabletop pose. So coming over onto all fours. Using whatever support you might need at your knees or at your wrists. Finding a neutral spinal position, your gaze is towards the front of the mat. You're going to breathe in, drop the belly to the floor, crown of the head up for cow. Exhale, round in the upper back, chin to chest, cat. We'll continue like that. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And as you're doing that, bringing a little more attention back to where our mind is at. That metaphor of a snow globe, seeing how our breath and movement flowing here, I can help settle that snow. Come into one last round. And then find again that neutral spine looking towards the front of your mat. You'll take your right arm towards the ceiling. On an exhale, thread the right arm under the left, shoulder towards the floor. Inhale, press into the left hand, right arm up towards the ceiling. Thread the needle. Exhale, twist. Inhale, right arm lifts. One more like this. And we're going to hold the pose as we go into it one last time. So now if you've got a block, you might slide that underneath your head, especially if your shoulder's not at the floor. If you are able to get to the ground or you've got that support, maybe your left arm reaches towards the front of your mat. Wherever you're at here, just breathing. Preparing to come out. If that left arm extended, bring it near your head. Press into the left hand, reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Hold for a breath. And then release right hand to the ground. So we'll do the same thing on the other side now. It's flowing for a few rounds and then holding. Left arm to ceiling, that's your inhale. Exhale, thread the needle, left arm under right. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to twist. Connecting breath and movement. Now go into one more, holding in this last one. So maybe grab a block and use support. Maybe explore that right arm reaching out towards the front of the mat. Wherever you're at, focus on your breath. To come out, if you extended that right arm, bend the elbow, bring your hand by your head. Press into that right hand, left arm reaches up, holding here, and then we'll release. Finding our first child's pose. And again, adjusting here, using props as you need. Hips towards the heels. Knees can be close or wide. Options for arms to stretch to the front of the mat. That might feel really good for your back. For a little more support, you might bring your hands under your head. Or to bring a little more awareness, attention to the shoulders. Your hands could reach back towards your feet. Wherever you're at, 3-part breath, and we're going to do 3 of these. Breathing in, belly, ribs, chest. Breathing out, chest, ribs, belly. Through the 3rd round, we'll lift back to our tabletop pose. Again, using any support that we need, preparing for the first downward facing dog. Tuck under the toes, press into the hands. You're lifting the knees, pushing the chest back towards the legs. It'll look like an upside down V. Heels towards the floor, hips towards the ceiling. And again, if you need movement, you might pedal your legs, nod your head. Again, there's always options. If we need, we could stay in that tabletop shape. We could always stay in that child's pose. We're going to go towards the front of our mat, forward fold. Bringing the feet towards the hands. And again, take as many steps as you need to get there. Knees bent. And we'll start to half lift. Hands at shins, hands at thighs. Exhale, fold. And again, if you've got props, you might reach down towards those. We're going to come up slow, standing, arms overhead. Find a nice neutral spine, head over heart, heart over hips. And then you're going to bring your hands down to your hips here. Create a little back bend, letting your heart lift up. And then come back to that neutral spine. You're going to keep your left hand at your side, reach your right arm up, and then stretch over to the left. Come back up to the middle. You'll bring that right hand to your hip. You're going to reach your left arm up and stretch over to the right. And then we're going to come back up to the center, and you can either bring both arms by your side, or like when we were seated, you might have one hand at heart, one hand at belly. We're going to come back to that 3-part breath here. So we breathe into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. We breathe out from the chest, out from the ribs, out from the belly. We'll do that for 2 more, 3-part breaths. And then after this 3rd one, you can release your hands back by your sides. If it feels nice, you might roll the shoulders, shrug up and down. And today we're just going to move through some variations of our sun salutations. We'll inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees as much as you need. You'll inhale, stand, arms overhead. And then exhale, release, arms by your side. So that's our half sun salute. adding on a little more each time. We'll inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift half up. Exhale, fold, and we make our way back to that tabletop pose. You're on your hands and on the knees, using any support under the knees or wrists if you need. Cow-cat, one round. Breathing in, drop the belly down, lift the crown of the head up. Exhaling for cat, you'll round into your upper back, tuck chin towards chest. Inhale, tabletop, find your neutral spine. Exhale, child's pose. Drop the hips towards the heels. Maybe we come onto our elbows. Maybe we've got support under the head. 3-part breath, 3 rounds. Inhale, tabletop pose. Come up onto your hands and knees. Standing forward fold. You'll bring your feet to the front of the mat. And as you inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand, arms overhead. And exhale, mountain. And so with the colder weather, it can affect our joints. If you find that you might be a little more stiff today, you can always stay with that variation, doing our cow-cat. We're going to do one more, working into that full sun salute. Inhale, arms up above you. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, and you can step back to plank or kneeling plank pose. You'll breathe in, and as you exhale, lower all the way down or halfway down. Breathing in, we take a back bend, lifting into cobra, head and chest, or up dog, up on the hands. Release, and your choice, child's pose or downward facing dog. And we come back to that 3-part breath. Breathing in, belly, ribs, chest. Breathing out, chest, ribs, belly. One last round of breath. And then we're heading back to that standing forward fold, bringing the feet towards the front. And as you get up, inhaling, half lift. Exhale, fold. Arms overhead, breathe in. Standing all the way, and then exhale, arms by your side, mountain pose. And we'll come back to that metaphor for our mind today. If the mind is like a snow globe, once we shake it up, it's not as clear. It gets a little cloudy with all the snow that's in there. And so we're working on feeling more settled, more relaxed, so that we can see more clearly. So we've got more clarity, more ease. And in yoga, this goes along with what's called sattva. And so we're always shifting between. We might have a lot of energy. We might have low energy. We might feel overwhelmed, or we might feel lethargic. And we're always working towards coming back to that middle ground. Or another metaphor now, like Goldilocks and the 3 bears, we're always looking for that sweet spot. So as we're moving into our standing series, I really want you to think about approaching your poses in a way that helps you feel more settled today. And so we're going to begin having our right foot. Let me turn this way so I'll be able to see. Your right foot's going to be at the front of your mat, and you're going to step your left foot back, maybe 2.5, 3 feet. And our left foot's going to go at an angle of about 45 degrees. If we were to draw a line from the right heel straight back, we might meet the heel of the back foot. If we feel a little off balance like that, we can always take that right foot more towards the edge of the mat. And we're bending the right knee, knee over ankle, pressing into that pinky edge of your back foot, really activating that left thigh. And then arms overhead. This is our warrior one pose. Your hips are turned towards that front edge of your mat. You're grounding into both feet. 3 breaths here. Bringing back in a little bit of what we did when we were sitting. For that 3rd breath, you're going to bend your elbows, cactus arms. So you've got your elbows out by the sides. And then you'll inhale, arms overhead. We'll do that 2 more times. Exhale, elbows bend. Strong in the legs. Inhale, arms extend. Next time you've got your elbows bent, go ahead and stay in that position. And this is a perfect option if this is where you need to be today. We're going to go into a deeper shoulder stretch. Reach the arms to a T. And again, you can always stay in any of these places. You're going to turn your palms towards the floor and bring your arms down by your side. Bringing the hands back behind you. And again, maybe this is the shape you choose today. Option to bring the hands together, maybe fingers interlace, maybe we hold fists. And if you're in this position, you're pressing the palms together, widening across the collarbones, palms away from the body. Now, humble warrior pose is where we're going to go. Our chest folds towards that front leg. That could be an inch or 2, or you might make contact, resting the chest on the upper thigh. Your chin is tucked in, back of the neck, no tension, with the option of lifting those hands even more towards the ceiling to deepen the shoulder stretch. Wherever you're at, 3 breaths. Inhaling to stand, slow and controlled. Reach your arms all the way overhead. Warrior one. 3 breaths. So holding these poses today, giving our mind and body that time to settle. We'll transition now into the warrior two pose. So bringing your hands down, you're going to turn the left toes to face the long side of the mat. Arms now in a T. And if we want to get really picky with the feet, drawing a line from that front foot might meet the heel or arch of the back foot. Front knees over ankle. And we're just mindful that we're not kind of tilting forward here, shoulders over hips. Look towards that right hand, 3 breaths. And that's your 3-part breath. We're going to flip the right palm after the 3rd breath. Reach the right arm up overhead, and you can either take left hand to the back leg, or there's the option of wrapping that left hand behind you like you're going towards that right hip. We'll take 3 breaths here, letting that right arm extend towards the ceiling, but keeping that right shoulder away from the ear. For the 3rd breath here, arms back into warrior two. 3 more breaths, looking towards that right hand. Again, that visual of a snow globe settling. We're going to extend the right leg, Pivot all of the toes to the long side of the mat. We're going into wide-legged forward fold. You'll bend from the hips, reach the hands either to the floor, or if you've got a block, you can reach to that for support. While you're here, you could nod your head yes, nod your head no. Maybe walk the hands towards one foot. Just really any movement that might feel good for you. We'll take 3 more breaths. You'll have a slight bend in the knees and maybe even turn the ankles in, toes out. Standing up slowly, hands towards the upper thighs, keeping the knees bent, letting the hips drop as you come up into this position. It's a little bit like a wide-legged squat. You're going to turn that right shoulder towards the center of the knees, like that right shoulder's dropping to the ground, looking over to the left shoulder. And then you'll come back to the center and do that same twist, but now it's that left shoulder dropping between the knees, looking back over the right. And then again, you're going to release and stand up slowly. We're going to extend our legs. We want to turn the toes forward. And then you can either step the feet together, heel toe the feet together. Feel free to shake it out. We're going to repeat all of that now on the other side. So this is our big standing flow in our practice. As we approach it this time, you might try to focus more on your 3-part breath. Or maybe again, calling in that metaphor, really think of settling the mind. We're going to step our right foot back this time so that your left foot's in front. We're going into warrior 1. That back foot's at an angle. Let me move my block about 45 degrees. You're bending the left knee, arms overhead. You're pressing into both feet here, strong in the legs. 3-part breath. Like we did on the other side, we're going to find cactus arms. You'll bend your elbows, bring them out towards the edges of the mat. Inhale, arms overhead, and repeat that. Exhale, elbows bend. One more like this. We'll inhale up. Exhale, bend, and now we're preparing for that humble warrior. And so you can stay with arms in cactus. Your arms could come to a T. You might turn the palms down, bring your hands by your side, and begin to reach the hands back. Option for the fingers to interlace. You can clasp your hands here and go for that deeper stretch today. We never have to force anything. So maybe arms reach back, maybe arms are by your side. And in that humble warrior, we begin to fold our chest towards the front leg. And so maybe a couple of inches is as far as you need to go. Or maybe you can get that chest propped up on the front leg. And the option for those that want the deeper stretch, you might lift the hands towards the ceiling, and that's going to give you a little more intensity in the shoulders. 3 breaths here. And then we come back slowly into that warrior 1. If the hands were together, they'll release. Crown of your head comes up. Arms reach towards the ceiling. 3 breaths. Letting mind and body settle. Just like snow settling in a globe. From here, we move into that warrior 2 pose. You can bring your arms down. You'll turn the right foot now to the long edge of the mat. Arms to a T. You're still bending that left knee, looking towards the left hand. And again, if you want to be a little more picky with the feet, front heel might, if you drew a line back, meet the heel or arch of the back foot. 3 breaths here. We stay in the same shape in the lower body. Flip the left palm, reverse warrior. Left hand lifts up. Right hand can be at your leg or wrapped behind the back, almost like you were going to grab that left hip. Find your balance, strong in your feet. 3 breaths here. For that 3rd breath, we come back into warrior 2. And again, using this as that opportunity to settle. Anything that got shaken in our inner snow globe, we let it relax now. Couple more rounds of breath. Last pose in this set, we're going to straighten that left leg. Turn the toes to the long edge of the mat. It's a wide-legged forward fold. That could even look like hands on the legs, at the thighs or shins. And again, that option of reaching towards the floor or support. Finding any movement or just finding awareness of breath. We're here for another 3. Depending on where you're at in the pose, you'll start to come out slowly, bending the knees, creating that slight angle with the feet, heels in, toes out. And as you stand, knees bend, hips sit low, and we're in this kind of wide-legged squat pose. We twist, dipping that right shoulder towards the floor. Release and do the same thing to the other side. So your left shoulder dipping towards the floor. And then coming back towards the middle, we straighten the legs and stand. We're going to turn the toes forward, and then you can either step the feet, heel toe the feet together. Our next set of poses is some balance. So if you need to move closer to a wall, step off your mat, take what you need. We'll start just standing in that mountain pose, which could be your big toes touching or hip distance between your feet. Crown of your head tall, arms just relaxed by your sides. And before even lifting a foot, just kind of shift the weight of the body, right to left. And then letting the weight shift into that right leg. Bring your left heel either against the ankle, shin, or inner thigh to find your tree pose. And the hands can be low. Palms might meet at chest. Or for more of a challenge, you can reach your arms overhead. 3-part breath, 3 rounds. It's always okay if we come out, we can come back in. After that 3rd breath, we're still going to do a little bit of balance. So if the arms are overhead, they can lower. If hands were at chest, they can lower. We're going to separate the left foot from our leg and turn the knee forward. Now, you can just hover like this, and that might be toes hovering right above the floor. If it's available to you, you might reach towards the knee and bring it towards the chest. So this is a lot like a pose we often do when we're reclined, laying on our back. And we're going to see if we can continue to stay in our balance, whatever variation we're in, and turn it into a twist. So it might be that your right hand is kind of holding on to that left leg, or maybe it's the right hand just reaching towards the left leg. And you're going to extend your left arm straight back in a T. And we're going to see if we can hold here for 3. Again, if we come out, that's okay. If we're wobbly today, that's okay. Sometimes that snow globe gets shaken. We're going to come out after that 3rd round of breath, back to mountain. And before we do the other side, a few rounds of that 3-part breath. So you might just visualize, you might bring one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Breathing into the belly, ribs, and chest. And breathing out, chest, ribs, belly. Just taking a couple rounds here, letting breath, body, mind all settle. One last round. Your hands can come down, and we're going to work on that balance on the other side. So just like we started, before you lift your foot, just let your weight shift back and forth. Getting that sensation, and when the weight's in the left leg, we'll go ahead and stay in that place, bringing the right heel towards the ankle, shin, or inner thigh. And then you decide where you want your hands to go today. So they can stay low. That might offer a little more steadiness in the pose. You could reach overhead for more of a challenge. Or maybe palms are at the chest, somewhere in between. 3 breaths here. And after that 3rd breath, we're going to stay balancing as best as we can, separating that right foot from the leg and turning the knee towards the front. Again, maybe the foot goes lower, maybe the knee comes a little higher. And you can either have your arms down or maybe bringing that knee towards you now. And we're going to stay in this balanced shape and move it into a twist. So the right arm's going to reach back in a T, and can be that left hand holding the knee or just reaching in the direction of the leg. 3 breaths as best as we can. And then we'll come back out that mountain pose now. Standing really tall, maybe feeling a little taller than when we started practice. And we're going to prepare to make our way back to the floor. Come into a fold forward. So you're going to bend from the hips, reach either towards the mat or maybe hold your elbows and let it be a ragdoll pose. The option of swaying side to side. You can go into a downward facing dog, or if you want to skip that, maybe find your way to tabletop. If you're in that downward dog shape, just moving organically in any way that your body craves. And then a child's pose. We'll take our time going slowly, hips towards the heels, any variation. Again, taking that 3-part breath. And our next set of poses will bring us onto the floor, coming to sit on the tailbone and swinging the legs around to the front. Both legs straight out. This is that staff pose. Feet are flexed. We can always have support underneath our knees, arms by your sides. And ever so lightly press the hands into the floor. See if that gives you space to sit up a little more. You're going to inhale, arms overhead, keeping that length in your spine. Folding at the hips, you'll start to reach to where you can hold. And that might be feet, ankles, shins. Never forcing anything in this. We're going to take 3 breaths. After that 3rd breath, you'll inhale the arms overhead. And then release your hands by your hips, coming back into that staff pose. Bend the right knee. And you've got the option of keeping it like this, or you might cross the right foot over the left leg. Again, you've got that nice upright spine. You're going to bring that right hand back behind you. Left hand can hold your knee. Left elbow might hook the knee. Or for an even deeper stretch, you might take the elbow towards the outside of the knee. And then your arm could maybe reach towards the floor. You could have your fingertips towards the ceiling. And we're looking over towards that right shoulder wherever we're at. Mindful that we're not clenching, gripping, tensing around that right hip. Let it relax as much as it can. We'll take a couple more breaths. Unwinding from your twist, you'll turn back to the front of your mat. Uncross the right leg if you did that. Straighten the right leg out. Bend the left knee, and again, you've got the options. You can stay like this. You can cross left foot over right. For all of us, left arm goes back behind. And then you decide, maybe it's your right hand at your knee, right elbow hooking the knee, or even right elbow outside of the knee. Each of these will create different sensations. Coming back to that metaphor today of the mind like a snow globe. Find the shape that helps you feel more settled. Couple more breaths here. Releasing with your exhale, you'll unwind back to the front. Uncross the legs, straighten it. Maybe shake the legs out. Our last seated pose now is going to be a butterfly. So we're bending both knees, bringing the soles of the feet together. And we can always support underneath our knees. We might bring the feet in closer, or we might take the feet a little further away. And again, just finding the version of this shape that helps you to feel more settled. Like that snow globe where it's sat for a while, it's not been shaken. The snow's still there, but there's clarity, we can see. And you can stay upright in this butterfly, or you can start to fold. And we're going to hold for 3 more breaths. If you're in that forward fold, you'll sit up slowly. We'll all take hands towards the knees, bringing the knees together, nice and easy. And then preparing to transition onto our back. We'll lay down for the rest of our poses. If you've got any props like your blocks, you might have those close. So as we come onto the floor, you'll keep your right knee bent, have your left leg extend. We did tree pose as our balance today, and we're going to recreate that shape. You're going to bring your right foot either against the shin or the thigh. Now you've got the knee open towards the outside. You might slide your block underneath your knee. And like the other tree pose, any position for your hands. They can be down low. You could reach your arms overhead. You might bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest. We'll stay for a few breaths here. And again, just like we did when we were standing, we're going to start to point the right knee towards the ceiling. You can keep your foot on the floor, or you might bring that right knee up towards your chest. You can hold the knee with the left hand, or just have that left arm kind of reaching towards the right leg. Right arm's by your side, and you're going to twist over towards the left. Take a couple of breaths here. We might feel this in that IT band. Releasing back to the center, you're going to straighten that right leg all the way down. You'll bend your left knee. We're coming into a reclined tree pose, so the left foot can be against the right shin or the right thigh, with the option of supporting that knee with a pillow, block, something underneath. Your hands wherever you want them to be. Focus on 3-part breathing. On your next exhale, release your arms down. And again, it's just like what we did standing. We're going to point that left knee towards the ceiling, with the option of bringing the knee closer to the chest. And then we're twisting that knee over towards the right side, with either the right hand reaching towards the leg or holding that knee. Breathing here. Coming out. We're going to keep that left knee bent and set the foot flat on the floor, and then bend that right knee. You might find a windshield wiper motion, gently rocking the knees from side to side. And then coming towards the center, we'll move into the bridge pose. Your choice today, you can hold for 1 breath, 3 breaths, or even up to 10. You're going to press down into your feet. Use all the muscles in your lower body to lift the hips up. And maybe it's just enough to slide a piece of paper underneath. Or maybe the hips lift higher towards the ceiling. And we did those humble warriors today, so working on that shoulder flexibility, you might can bring the hands underneath you, holding fists, interlacing the fingers, or even just reaching towards the heels. And again, it's up to you how many breaths you stay. We want to approach our practice in a way that's supportive. Going back to that visualization, what practices, what actions can we take to settle that inner snow globe today? So again, stay for as long as you'd like, and On your own time, you'll release your hips down and we find a windshield wiper motion. We're getting close to the end of our practice here. We're going to come into a twist with our arms to a T, so making your way out of that back bend if you haven't already. And for this twist, you're going to scoot your hips about an inch towards the left and then drop the knees to the right so that the spine is still really centered on your mat. And you can look up towards the ceiling or over to that left shoulder. Again, with options of blocks, blankets, pillows under your knees, between your knees. And we're going to take a few breaths here. Again, 3-part breath. Take another breath on this side. Releasing to the center with the knees, hips, and head. We'll do the same thing, but now the hips are going to scoot about an inch towards the right as the knees fall towards the left side. Looking towards that right shoulder. 3-part breathing. Do one more breath. And you come back to the middle with your head, your hips, your knees. You're going to straighten your legs and reach your arms overhead, stretching the whole body. And then slide the hands and feet to the right corners of your mat. You'll create a shape in the body, a little bit like a banana. You might feel that stretch deeper on the left side. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Then sliding the hands and feet to the opposite corners of the mat. Creating that same shape, but really feeling that stretch deeply through the right side. We'll take a couple of breaths here. You're going to come back to the middle and you might bring the feet towards the edges of the mat. Your arms are going to come down, one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly. It would feel better in the lower back. You can bend your knees and have your feet flat. We're going to take 3 more rounds of 3-part breath. Breathe into your belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Do that one more time on your own. And then let your arms come down by your side, and we'll take a few minutes for our Savasana pose today. So you're laying in any comfortable way. You're at home if you want to put your legs up against a wall, or maybe rest your legs in a chair on the couch. That can feel really restorative. You might wiggle the arms a little, get the shoulders comfortable underneath you. If resting on your side feels better, you're welcome to do that. But we're just going to take about a minute here to relax at the end of our practice. Again, I invite you to visualize a snow globe, imagining it like the mind. When it's shaken by stress, news, do lists, everything swirls and that visibility gets clouded. We come towards the end of the practice. Notice what happens when the snow globe has been set down for a while. All the snow disappears, but there's more clarity, more ease in seeing what's here. This is a reminder to carry with you. Calm doesn't come from forcing stillness. It comes from pausing long enough to stop adding more. It's something we can return to anytime for breath, holding a pose, or taking a moment of rest. So things continue to settle. We go into the rest of our snow day. Take a deep breath here. Then begin to reawaken. You might open and close your feet, the wrists, the ankles. After you stretch, you might reach arms overhead, might hug your chest. You can start to roll over to your favorite side, bringing your hands under your head like a little pillow. We're going to take another 3-part breath, resting on our side. And then we'll come back to where our practice started. So you'll be in a comfortable, upright seat. Hopefully feeling that that inner snow globe has settled a little this morning. I will be really mindful of your time because we've gone over just a minute. Namaste.